All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm James Wisdom. This is Drawing for Tattooers. I'm getting warmed up. Trying to get back to the drawing. I've been neglecting my my warm-ups with you, and so I'm just moving around here. You know what I mean? I'm just moving the pencil around. I'm hoping that this is something that you also take time to do. Something to warm up. How do you warm up? I hope that you do. I hope that you find a way to warm up. I think what's a really fun game to play, and you could even potentially do it with others, is take a shape, right? Any old shape that you like, right? I don't know. Yeah. Does this look like a duck to you? Anyway, take a shape, any old shape that you like, and try your best to draw a circle in it. You could give this to one of your comrades after you're done. You make a circle, they make a circle, right? Somebody else makes a circle. Right? The point, terrible. Look at that. You get a good laugh at it. Anyway, so the negative space, the space that's not within a circle, these are the places where you put another circle. What's the point? Well, again, I think it is good practice probably to just circle is kind of is an important shape. Right. But what you'll find is, that you'll never really run out of negative spaces to put it. Put circles here in any shape, likely. If you're drawing it from this point of view, this size, it's like I'm out of room, But of course, if you zoomed in hard enough, you go, I could put in a circle. Don't do this. Don't do this part. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Don't do that actually, but instead, try to take it for the spirit of what it is and, try to cram these little circles in there. Who knows? You may come up with a really interesting composition, but you could also potentially come up with, a fun thing to do. Like I said, with those around you. So, what you'll find in duck rings. Yes, thank you, Rodney. Appreciate it. Okay, that's enough of this. I hope I'm feeling warmed up. Right, I am feeling warmed up, and hey, everybody, great to see you this morning. We've got Amber, we've got Spirit. Kyle is the man of the hour today, though. Kyle Olson, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, hanging in there, doing the daily. Just, working on the craft, trying to get better and better. Always being the student, never the master. Yeah. It's good to see Spirit. Good to see Amber.
What's up, guys?
How goes it?
I'm assuming we're all relatively busy considering it's tax return season.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's tax return season. Hopefully you got it done.
I have a friend of mine who calls it her tax return.
Huh? That's a good way to look at it.
It's specifically for tax every year.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
It's challenging, I think.
I will say this year's been a little slow, a little slower than normal, I will say. But it's better than the slow season we just came out of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've definitely seen an uptick for sure, but definitely not as bad as it was earlier.
Yeah.
Which I found opportunity in that. Like I've done like a couple like
I just keep reminding people before you know it, summer will be here. And you want your new tattoos to be all healed so you can show them off.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, it's perfect time. Perfect time. Yeah. I'm trying to take opportunity within like it and definitely trying to draw more. And then I'm trying to put some like rose designs together and do some like really good deals to where I can really, really like just focus on drawing more and trying like specific techniques compared to just to having your tattoo come in, go out, come in, go out, type of thing. Just kind of stuck in the grind. So there's opportunities everywhere, if you look at it. So, which I'm super excited about.
I think that's really a great way to approach it. That your customers, your clients, they matter to you.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that you already have, these are the people who are they're your support network, right? And so reaching out to them, like making sure that they know that you like care about them, I think can be, not only good for you financially, but it's also good for them, right? That it really is. It's the tattoos that people have are really important to them.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget. It's easy to forget. You do tattoos all day. It can kind of be this. It can almost become just sort of invisible to you, if you like.
Yeah.
But really taking stock. This is a moment, I think, for a lot of folks, where you really start to realize how important they are. Because, right, maybe it's not as busy as you'd like. Even if you're doing everything right, you're marketing at like an extremely efficient level.
Yeah.
You really are. You're getting lots of likes on social media. All the things that you do, it really is working well. Except for it's not as busy as you'd like. For instance, you're having people reschedule. For instance, I think this is a bigger, perhaps meta issue. Not just like in our world, right? There's a lot of people who are feeling this way, and it's a kind of an interesting, meter, right? Like, oh, the index of tattoo artists. Like, how does it feel, right now? Yeah. Well, there's probably a lot of factors that are at play, and so the confidence that our customers have in their capacity to start a new project, right? Or even like maybe I'll take a break. You know what I mean? I'm doing some big piece, so on and so forth. I'll come back to it in a couple months when things are better. So it is. This is. I think it's a challenge it's very. I think a lot of us are sharing in it. Some people probably aren't. If you're watching us and everything is going well for you, I'm
Congratulations on your serotonin.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm joking.
That's right.
We want to support each other, of course. Support. What do you all think? About this idea of craft. Craft versus an industry. Probably we're in an industry. There's lots of corporate support for all of the things that we do. So all the supplies you buy, they're from major corporations. You know what I mean? I'm sure some people could say, no, I get it from such and such. They may have retort to that. I would say for the vast majority of us tattooers, we're buying, our supplies and whatnot. These are from major corporations. There's an industry that supports us. In this sense, we're actually kind of a part of an industry. But for the longest time, it really was a craft, right? It's it is there has been a shift. This is what I'm sort of asking you about. So not to remember like the good old days necessarily, but But feeling this difference, right? The difference in how we have to conduct our business and how we have to, pay taxes, right?
Yep.
Right. I remember a time when I was in lots of environments where it was very much, and I knew lots of others. I'm not going to divulge, I'm not going to name names, but I'm just saying it's more of a pirate ship sort of situation, right?
Yeah.
Where now it's like you really want to be legitimate. You want to be a professional. You want to participate. I wanted to open up the floor to some discussion this morning about that stuff.
I could definitely speak to that. I came into tattooing kind of like in 2008, like right before the shift happened. Like I saw the cell phone come into tattooing. I saw that kind of stuff. I was still taught how to use Flash and things like that. But yeah, and it was a pirate ship. You're right. It was like this. My wife calls it like a boys' club. Where and it was almost like it's almost like I've grown up with tattooing. Whereas I was 29 when I first started tattooing, but now that the internet helped a lot, dwellers are. But now that subs teachers are getting tattooed now, nurses are getting tattooed now, so it's less of a boys club than it is. Now we have to be accepting of everyone, and you have to be cognizant of the things that you say and your mannerisms and your bedside manners. When before it was like, I just
Likers and degenerates, as my mother used to say.
Yes. I mean, I'll just give an example of, I remember like I came out of the shop where they would tell women that if they were getting a tattoo, somewhere like right here, that they had to take their entire shirt off, you know what I mean? And just sit in the booth topless. I mean, I saw this happening, but now that's,
And
that's
it's not
unheard
like
of.
they take you to a private booth. It was right there on the floor.
Right.
It
And
was
now,
right there out in the middle where everybody's booth was open. There was no private booth for more, delicate work or anything like that. And back when I started my first apprenticeship in 95, there were not a lot of women. And I mean, I've seen industry definitely streamline the craft of tattooing, because when I started my apprenticeship originally, I was building his needles and mixing his pigments and running the autoclave. Things were reused and sterilized rather than just throw it away and get a new one. And it's funny because I started with suspended pigments rather than inks with a lot of acrylic and stuff like that in them. I prefer inks that are more a suspended pigment than they are a thick, painty like ink. That's how I learned. So that's so much, I can get that in the skin so much better.
That's an interesting thing I never thought of, is like the whole side of like making your needles and mixing your pigments and cleaning your grips and tubes and tips and all that stuff and autoclaving everything. Like, how much of that was part of the craft?
A lot. But
like
you
never,
had your apprentice do all that shit.
yeah. It's just like, doing chores, cleaning. But like, no, that's like part of the craft, like making your needles and stuff like that, which was a pain in the ass, But yeah.
But sometimes I miss it because I can make needle groupings I can't regularly get that were more paintbrushy, and I liked them more.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with bringing it back and doing it, Well, you can't make your own cartridges unless you have a really good system, but yeah.
Yeah, unless you have a factory that that can make them for you. This is really also a very interesting topic, and it's this whole idea of who gets to tattoo, right? It's completely ubiquitous now. You can easily go to Amazon, buy all of the equipment that was much more difficult to get in the past. Call it gatekeeping if you like, but certainly we know now that there are major retailers that offer this equipment that it can be very dangerous, obviously.
Yeah.
This can be an
Do you know how many
incredibly...
kitchen edition tattoos I've fixed?
I don't. I really don't. It used to be a really rare thing. It was not so common. Now it is.
Yeah.
Now that is everywhere. People in all demographic sectors, especially young people, they're buying this equipment and they're just going at it. I don't want to be hypocritical here. You know, there's a lot of people I know, that's how they started. Now they're incredible professionals. You probably all do too. You probably all know people who started that way. They surreptitiously, procured the tattoo equipment somehow. Now
Well, it wasn't all that long ago that tattooing was still illegal in most of the states. I mean, it was ignored and the law wasn't really pushed, but it was still illegal.
Mm-hmm.
There are
So
certain
everybody
states,
that started out on their own.
there are certainly states that have different rules, right? So any of you who travel around, if you tattoo anywhere out of your own state, you're going to run into this where the rules are different. They're usually a county rule, but certain states have much stricter approaches to tattooing. And some of you who tattoo in states, New Mexico comes to mind, New Jersey, they have this really long period of time where you have to do all this training, all this supervised training. You have to get so many hours.
2,000 hours.
That's a long time. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's something about it that does seem, like effective, right? Efficacious. There would be something about having an extended duration of training. But
Mm-hmm.
it really seems that it's a really interesting question because they come up from time to time, and friend of the show, Medusa Slays, tattoos in Oregon. There's a really long period of time there where I think you have to go to a certified school or something like that. Forgive me.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
after the certified school, you get an apprenticeship. You don't go to school and then get a license. Then you have to get into a shop and get an apprenticeship. I'm not sure how long the apprenticeship is, but I know just to get to an apprenticeship, there's a lot of work.
Yeah, there's a process there to be able to practice tattoos, to be able to do them at all in that particular place. I'm not saying that, I'm not calling for new regulations or anything like that. So don't get me wrong. This is just a conversation about these things, right? So we're not calling for new rules, but we're talking about the rules as we understand them, and then, I guess speculating at some point. So you have to go to a school like there are schools, tattoo schools there, and you have to go to them in order to be able to do tattoos. I don't know if there's any other places, in the United States that are like that. But for the most part, if you went to a tattoo school, right, if you just went to one, and then you showed up at a shop and you're like, I went to tattoo school, they would probably, for the most part, they would reject you. They might laugh, something like this. Yeah. Unless you showed up with a badass portfolio, right? Like you came in, you're like, here's my portfolio. And I know how to practice tattoos. I know how to do them. Where did you learn it? I went to tattoo school. Something like this, right? There's always going to be these people who excel, let's say. But for the most part, higher education can be that way for many, and that can be an experience for many. That it is there's a certain element of scam that's in it, right? It's a
Yeah,
scheme
yeah,
to get money, right?
yeah.
Or to get state money.
Uh-huh.
But there are going to be people who it's really effective for. They really worked out well. They excel, so on and so forth. But for many, it won't be this way. The problem comes, though, I think, and this is just something that, this, I don't mean to make people upset. So if you're listening to me and this upsets you, this not that's not what I'm trying to do. But the word apprenticeship is a specific term, right? And it applies to the trades, and federally it is, it is a specific classification of an employee,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? If you're an apprentice, you're actually employed by company, or again, you could have joined a union or something like this, right? And as an apprentice, you are paid. It might be the lowest tier of pay, for instance, but you're getting paid. You're getting really in depth. You're immersed in the thing that you're trying to learn. And then we get to tattoos. It is different, right? It's just
Yeah.
handled differently. We call the learner. We don't call them a student, because a student, if you're a student, you really have to pay. That's the way we understand it, right? If you were going through schooling, you're paying for the instruction, you're paying for the tutelage, if you like. If you are an apprentice, that's a paid position. Different than an internship. I don't mean to throw around all these terms, right, and make it, make this overly complicated, but they are specific. So
Yeah.
if you're an intern, you don't have to get paid. You're likely doing it, for experience or credit towards some sort of certification or a degree, but it's very short term. An apprenticeship lasts for a year, 3 years, somewhere in there, but you're paid the whole way, right? It's a very different thing. I mean, colloquially, in the tattoo community, we all know what it means, right? You mop the bathroom, I teach you how to tattoo.
Or paint the bathroom.
Well, in the past it was, you make my needles, right? You clean my tubes, you draw my tattoos, you make my stencils and stuff, and then I'll teach you.
Mhm.
Got my garbage, all this stuff, right? All these are important lessons you got to know if you're going to be a professional, right? They are really important. So it really does. It's a really unique situation, because there are many professional services that we all would have to enjoy, or we'd all have to use, that we would expect there would be some technical training, right? there are some things that are like, you would expect that this person who is, I'm not trying to compare us to others, so I'm trying not to do that too much, right? I'm trying not to compare. A lot of people compare tattoo artists to hairdressers because the business model is similar. I think that there are going to be parallels there, but it's a very different thing, obviously. Dentistry. We're not dentists. We're not doctors, right? But you would hope that the person who is going to be performing this really technical procedure on your body has a really deep understanding about what it is to practice safely, as well as, in our case, an artistry, right? You would have to have an artistry as well. A decorative sense, an aesthetic sense. And so this is something that I'm thinking about a lot right now. Like, what is our status, right? There's a real contradiction here in our terms. We use these terms incorrectly. And of course, this ends up, I think, this ends up in this in our status as whether we're independent contractors once we become professionals. Are you renting your booth? Are you on a commission? Or are you an employee? It doesn't seem like it's as widely practiced that people are employees in the tattoo shop.
Yeah, they're usually independent contractors.
Right.
Again, I don't want to upset people. This is not about attacking your way of life. Not at all. But sometimes I have certainly I feel, I really like where I work now, the people I work with. So I'm not going to pretend it's perfect, but I really respect them, and in my situation, we all have found a lot of, an equilibrium where we respect each other, and so I think that is really healthy. But in the past, I've certainly experienced this, and let me know if this sounds familiar to you well, where you, as a tattooer, are an independent contractor when it's convenient for the boss. And then you're an employee when it's convenient for the boss.
You're an employee when the bathroom needs to be cleaned. You're an independent contractor when you need needles.
Yeah. When it comes time for you to have to sit there, right, and not get paid, you know what I mean, right? Or something like this, right? You're expected, or you couldn't go, again, it's like, I think it's understood in our business, right? You wouldn't go across the street to the other shop and do tattoos out of that spot, right?
Yeah.
There's a loyalty that we all kind of engage with, and I appreciate that. But again, the whole notion of an independent contractor person is that you could do that, and it really shouldn't
I
be
don't know
something
how it
that's
is in other states, but like in New Jersey, when you sign a contract with a tattoo shop, there's usually a clause in there that if you leave or if they terminate your contract in any way, for a year you can't tattoo or take an apprenticeship within 15 miles of that shop.
a lot of times that puts you
I remember it was 100 miles from my shop.
I've seen those too.
I wouldn't have signed that.
What the fuck? Or
Yep.
yeah, wow.
You can say that here, Kyle. That's all good.
Yeah. Just trying to be mindful. That's absolutely insane. Because I feel like that's trying to take ownership of a person, I guess, in a sense of things of like their career and shit like that. Towards like, I'm going to dictate what you can and
kind of
can't do.
scared me because within 30 minutes of me,
it's like,
there's
dude,
about 12 shops.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make a living. I'm trying to make a career. Like, I'm gonna go to another shop. Right. If this shop didn't work out, okay, so sorry, it happens. I'm gonna go somewhere else to try to continue my career. If I'm in the process of learning and I want to keep learning, I've got to go somewhere else.
That's right.
Like that's insane.
There's a certain level of exploitation we all have to expect, but there needs to be reciprocity. In these instances that you all are talking about, the exploitation is far greater, right? You're exploiting your tattooer, but to a far greater extent. Of course, we don't want to be one-sided. If you are a small business owner, right? You own a shop or something like this, right? You're taking a lot of risk. It's your risk.
Yeah.
Have to appreciate that part of it. And also express a gratitude. Hey, thank you very much. I really like that I get to tattoo out of here. Because again, it's really complicated, like trying to own a business and all of again, like we're talking about, becoming legitimate.
Yeah.
You have to pay those taxes, right? You're going to have to make sure that you check in with the health department. There's a lot of boxes you're going to have to check to be successful and to safeguard your business. And that's important because, again, the people that are working there are going to count on you. So it's not so simple, right? And this is not a bash. We're not bashing, you know what I mean? The owners or something like that. Or even tattooers, like, why don't you just start your own place right now? That's not it either.
I don't want to be a business owner. I just want to have a booth, go tattoo, and go home. I don't want the responsibility of having to be the one running the business. I used to think, if I can't get an apprenticeship, I'm just going to open up my own shop, hire some really good tattoo artists, and have them give me my apprenticeship. But I don't want to be an owner. I just want to be able to spend my time tattooing. Let somebody else be the owner.
It's important to realize that, I think. Sometimes renting a booth is a really great option if you have it. But in that case, you're like a really small tattoo shop.
Yeah.
You're a business. You really are a business. If you're an independent contractor, you're a business.
Yeah.
There are new rules that the federal government just put out this year. They readdressed this issue of who is an independent contractor and who is not. So it's available. I could share it, but not important. It really is something that ends up affecting all of us because we're in that space. We really are. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's it's important probably that whatever way you go, you really need to commit to it. If you're going to be, have employees, if you are going to employ all of your artists, we see this there are some shops that work this way where they are an employer. People tattoo there, they're employees. They get paid well. I mean, it might be really beneficial for you, right? If you really examine your career, you really examine the way you structure things, maybe being an employee is what's right for you. Just like Amber saying, you really just want to be a renter. You really want to be basically a micro shop.
Yeah.
But in some cases, right, when it's sort of half this and half that, then it becomes a trap.
Yeah, it starts to get a little political.
Well, I mean, like there are some tattoo shops that run off of commission base, and they do have employees, and these employees, they get paid a decent percentage, and these employees are being provided like health insurance and other necessities from this business that they're working part of. So there is definitely benefits of taking that route, and just kind of, I don't know, just being an employee, which, like you're going to still be able to like have your booth, be able to have, little things, this, that, and the other thing, and there'll be like rules and regulations to it and stuff. But there's definitely benefits within it. I've always thought the whole idea of like being an employee of a tattoo shop is very scammy. The whole like, oh, you're gonna give me a percentage of everything, and then I'm just gonna dick off with the money type of thing. But if there's more tattoo shops that are doing like, if it's commission based or whatever, and they have employees to where they do respectable things, to where they make sure that their employees are paid well, that their employees have the health insurance, that their employees are taken very well care of, and they're adding value to those people. Like I don't see a dang thing wrong with that. Not a dang thing wrong. If you just want a tattoo, try to find one of those shops. That sounds like a great setup. It sounds like a sweet setup, because then you take care of what, like your machines and your needles and ink if needs be, and then just everything else is provided for you, and then you just get a tattoo. It sounds like a pretty sweet setup. But yeah, that's just the whole scammy side of things, because like there's definitely shops out there that'll be like, oh yeah, we're just going to take a percentage. It's ridiculous when it comes to like percentages sometimes though, because like the first shop I moved over here to in Tucson, I was there for a week and then left. We had like an agreement to like percentages and stuff like that, and we were going to build up to like a monthly rent thing, but get there, I agreed to like, like a 50-50 for like walk-ins and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, that's your clientele, whatever. And then just like a 70-30 for like clientele that I bring in. And it's like, hey, cool. You know, I can work off that. I'll just hustle and make sure I bring in a lot more clients of my own, stuff like that. Like that's what I do anyways. That's what a lot of us do anyways. We just try to build up our own clientele. And gosh, it was like 4 days after we got set up and got everything going, and we did a few tattoos to where the dude's like, all right, everything's 50-50. And it's just like, bro, that's not, we didn't agree to that. That's not how the hell this works. These clientels that I've worked years for. And yeah. So there's definitely a lot of scammy shops out there, which is terrible and frustrating. It's insanely frustrating and disheartening, just to be that disrespectful to the industry and other artists doing crap like that. Especially the people that take full advantage of other artists, of employees, and their situations just to put more money in their own personal pockets. It's disgusting. I cannot have any respect for people that do that. If you're a shop owner, you're only as good as your team is. So if there's somebody on your team that's you know, not doing so hot, this, that, and everything, like help him the fuck out. Like don't take advantage of people. Help people out. Build, because like the more you build people up around you, like unstoppable.
The stronger your team is, and the better your shop is.
Yeah. So like to have those situations to where those commission shops are providing health insurance and making sure that these employees are taking care of themselves and that they get the time to themselves that they need and stuff like that, and they have everything they need. They're only going to be stronger employees, you know. Yeah. Tangent. So
go for it, Spirit.
So yeah, now this is really helpful information for me because I'm actually in the process of opening up a shop myself.
When can I guess why?
Fuck yeah, dude! Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm hanging out. Deal with it.
You crazy? Yeah, that'll be dope. So I already have the building procured. I'm just getting everything right with DHEC and all that good stuff. So I'm projecting to be open within the next 30 days. Having a tattoo shop is something I've always wanted to do, even before I knew I wanted to be a tattoo artist, which is kind of weird. But you know, now that I have the opportunity to do it, I'm so nervous and I'm so just terrified and just like, what's gonna happen? And you know, hey Jason, whatever you want, bro. And that's one of the things that I'm learning is that you know, I'm only really gonna get better by having people that are better around me. And you know, I'm probably gonna start off doing booth rent at first. You know, just because it's not so much of, I just want to make sure that the bills get paid. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much it. Everything else is I just want to make it client friendly and artist friendly and you know all that. So this is actually real good information for me just to hear it, you know, and being a tattooer for, you know, 12 years myself. Go ahead, James.
I just want to mention one thing. So this is an important point to remember for everybody out there, you know, and Spirit, you probably already know this, right? But there are really important ways of protecting everybody. One of them is that if you have an employee, depending on your state, there's different rules about it, but they can be let go, right? You can fire employees in a lot of cases. If you have a renter, though, they have to be evicted, right? If you are booth renting to somebody, and this goes for you all too, right? If you are renting, right? If you're a booth renter, you can't just be fired. You have to be evicted, right? You have to go through the same. You're a renter. Essentially, you're a landlord. You have the space. You're renting out a spot. Again, these words matter in a legal sense.
If you're leasing a spot to someone, you need to have a contract, a lease.
That's right.
And the best thing to do is in that lease, stipulate that the end of the contract can be given at any time. It's an at-will basis, and 30 days notice will be given by either party if either party chooses to end that lease at any time. So you would give him 30 days notice that you want his chair back, and his lease will be over because it's an at-will basis. or he would need to give you 30 days notice that he's going to be moving on and you'll have an empty chair.
Our opinions are for entertainment purposes only and do not in any way constitute legal advice. Consult your attorney.
No, that's just an idea
Yeah.
I had. That's not legal.
Consult with your
That's
legal counsel
creativity.
on this. But no, Amber, those are really smart ideas, and I think that's actually, if you can get that way. Again, it's so interesting because we were just talking about these really exploitative contracts where somebody's going to put you out of the 100 miles away. You can't work. You can't do this kind of work for a year, for 10 years, whatever the hell you sign. You just sign some. Many non-disclosure agreements end up becoming become invalidated. We really do see this across the legal landscape. We see this, in really high-profile examples. People sign non-disclosure agreements and then contest them in court. Sometimes there are penalties, but a lot of times the legalities of these agreements, they can be contested. But you want to do your due diligence and make sure that you're protecting yourself, your investment, whether that you are the tattooer, whether you're trying to own a shop. But I would look into that a bit. You know what I mean? For y'all out there, you're thinking about this kind of model where you are basically a landlord and you're renting out the space. Just hire just work with really great people. Vet them really thoroughly and make sure that they're going to do their end of things, which really would just, if it's a renter situation, you're just looking for their end of things, right? They're not there to do your walk-ins. You know what I mean? They're not there to sit there. If they want to come in and work one day a week, if they want to take off a month, whatever, as long as they pay you, that's all you can expect out of them. Just like your rental situation wherever you live, right? Your landlord can't expect you to go mow the lawn, right? Or whatever the hell, right? It would be nice. You could work those things out, right? There could be all kinds of agreements and stuff, but just, you gotta go in with eyes open and ask others who have this experience to lend you some insight about it. So, I don't know. It's not a discouragement in any way. It's an encouragement. Protect yourself. Make sure that you're doing it the way that you want to. You're getting out of it something positive. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be really hard work, but that's the thing about, like, if you have a private practice, it's just you. You know what I mean? It can be really difficult. You can become pretty insulated, right? Pretty secluded. What's really nice about having a shop, especially if you can all figure out a way to get along, is you can have more of a community, more of a place where you can draw things, show your tattoos in real time to others. It's funny because, the people that you tattoo next to, you're kind of in competition with them in a way. But there's a sort of camaraderie there as well that can honestly be present.
Yeah, it's
Like
healthy competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If that could extend out to the other shops that surround your area, right? There are people at other shops too. How different is that? Right? This is where I'm, really thinking this edge of, all right, I have a booth, I'm on a commission, this, that, and the other, right? The artists at the shop down the street, they're in the same situation. Am I in any less sort of competition with them as the person in the booth next to me? Right? It's really more the owners that are the owners maybe have a little bit different, sort of stake in this, as it were. Right? But the tattooers themselves, there might be a much stronger degree of solidarity. Does that make sense? Right? There might be a potential for a much stronger solidarity with the others. But I don't know if I necessarily find that. Maybe I'm wrong. If if you all have different experience, I'd love to hear about it. But it seems like you're cool with your ship, with your with the pirate ship you find yourself on, and it's the other ones. You know what I mean? We don't like them, or whatever the case may be. It's different cultures, different shops are a culture, right? You kind of find yourself in an insulated sort of space, and there is probably something important about that. But on a larger, at a larger sort of level, many of us are facing very similar sorts of conditions. Let's say.
Mm-hmm.
What do you all think about that?
I literally think you just covered everything, James. So I think we're
no.
Gosh, man, like it's very valid and it's very true. When we're all just kind of doing the same thing. Yeah, man, I got nothing to say, James. Like that was really well put. So, yeah.
Here we are. I know we've been hanging out for a while. So if you're new here, we've been doing this for a couple of years. Every Monday we get together. Sometimes we draw stuff. Sometimes we just talk. Other times we read a book or something like that, talk about it. But we have a real there's a space here, right, where we're thinking together. We're learning from each other, because I learn more by having sharing this with you all, right, than I would otherwise. I know that's true. I know that's true, and so I'm like super grateful for it. But it's difficult to reach out past where you're at. You know what I mean? To get out there and really to become part of a larger community. I think that it's challenging. Now, there's a lot of people that I know and have worked with for years. In my town, I've worked here for years. The people I've worked with over the years are, in different places, right? And we still keep in touch in various ways. There's a guy I work with right now who, we worked together. We worked at the same company, right? And we sort of, we intersected. We crossed paths several times throughout our, respective careers a decade or more ago. And now we're working together at a different place. It's a small world, I think, is what I'm saying. It's a really small world. We're less than 6 degrees separated, if you catch my meaning, right? We're all and here we are, we're all over the country. Spirit, you're more in the south. Amber, you're in the northeast. Kyle, you're out west. I'm in the Midwest. So we are, we're really kind of covering like a wide swath. We all have people that we're connected to. So vicariously, we're all, we're bringing people together, gang. That's what I'm,
I still have a tattoo artist that works in Atlantic City now, who used to work at Ink Ink, where I had my first apprenticeship. And we're still close, and I still go to her. I send her artwork I've drawn or tattoos I've drawn and go, how can I make this more dynamic? How can I make this better? What am I missing? What am I not seeing that you could tell me to make it a better, more tattooable?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that's it's really good.
Yeah, and I've met her in '95, and we're still really close. She was the only female tattooer I knew.
That is such an interesting development. Again, that the contribution, right? And we're talking about the industry like in big terms, and how we've seen it change. That was really kind of something that we started off with. But again, the contribution of women to tattooing, uh, it's undeniable. It's had a profound impact, right? Uh, I got the privilege to go to the Puerto Rico convention. Jason
Nice.
Leeser invited me. It was awesome. But while we were there, the APT, the Alliance of Professional Tattooists, had put together a roundtable of really important women in tattooing, and it was there's a really great article. You can find it on the APT's website, safetattoos.com. And so, yeah, Spirit, we'll see you in a minute. Yeah, no, I think there's so many different aspects to the to all of the changes that we're seeing. We can't just simplify it down uh, to one particular thing. Why is it slow? There are incredible economic, there are political, economic, sociological, and technical reasons for the for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so we really have to be in the truth of our moment, and that is probably the tattoo that you're doing right now. The thing you're doing right now. Be present in that moment. Focus on it. And again, Kyle and I were talking before the show on the importance of like practicing. And even, when you don't get a chance to be as Kyle, help me out here. Like, you don't do it as often as you like. You don't, you know what I mean? Like, what is the,
Yeah.
what are we talking about?
Oh gosh, just like I don't know, like in the sense of like you don't get to practice it as much as you want to. Like trying to find alternative routes, like so in our circumstance, like there's certain things that you want to practice and try and techniques and stuff like that, like finding a good quality, a fake skin, try to get as close as you can, but like it'll never be like human skin, but like I don't know. Like what we were talking about before is just like part of the whole practicing process. You're gonna mess up, you're gonna fail. It's just the way things are. It's gonna happen, and knowing this, it for me personally, I don't know how it works out for everybody, but it makes failing so much easier because it's like, oh well, yeah, well I was gonna do it, but not minimizing the effects of it. Like if you mess up something like a tattoo and stuff like that, like it's bound to happen, yes, but that doesn't minimize the severity for the client because we see some tattoos for just a couple hours, we see some tattoos for 30 minutes, and these people see this tattoo for the rest of their life. So when it comes to practicing your precision and everything like that, I guess yeah, you could do it for like personal reasons, but like it's also for the client. We're tattooing for the client. We're practicing for the client. Yeah, you can be tattooing for like selfish reasons, but like this tattoo you see for 40 hours, like larger pieces, whatever, this, that, and the other thing, and these people are seeing it for the rest of their lives. And the importance of just the whole process itself is super necessary, and needed, because like if we weren't gonna fail, if we don't mess up, like how do we know how to get better? Like
Yeah. You have to
if
do it wrong before you can do it right.
100%,
Nope,
100%,
nobody picks up a tattoo machine and suddenly is an awesome tattooer.
I mean, like Bob Tyrell, I think he might challenge that, but
Yeah, but yeah,
I'm
there's
kidding, I'm
of
kidding, I'm
course
kidding.
there's exceptions to the rule. In
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
any kind of art, there's a savant here or there.
yeah, yeah. That's very true though. But like, you can't just pick something up and expect to be, the best at things, and so you can't really beat yourself up when you're warming up, or when you're practicing and stuff like that. But you got to treat yourself with love and care in those situations, and know that like when I'm warming up doesn't what it looks like doesn't matter. I'm just, because that's not the point. You know, like what I'm trying to do is just warm up, and then when you're tattooing and stuff like that, and you mess up, and of course if you mess up, you try to make it look as best as you can, and you work with the mess ups and some stuff like that. Um, it's going to happen, and all it's going to do is provide a opportunity to get better. You know, so the whole failing forward thing, it stands
Yeah.
out a lot, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to suck, but learn from it, work with it, and move forward, and fail at it again, and then work with it, move forward, fail at it. It's it's chipping at that marble, you know, creating that sculpture. Oil painting was a huge lesson in practice. Helped me in tattoos using palette knife and brushes, etc. Of course, yeah, yeah. Oil painting. That's another way of getting better with tattooing and stuff like that. Learning layering and glazing and everything like that. Um,
Watercolor painting
undertones.
too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The underpainting, the undertones and stuff like that. That's that. Like when I was talking about the rose thing earlier, about trying to take opportunities. That's 100% the whole reason why I want to put out a few rose designs and just try to get people in, like give them like a hell of a deal, because I just want to practice on the underpaintings, the undertones, like just colds of like, you know, cold purples and cold blues and stuff like that, and see how it works with this color and that color, just for personal. But yeah, fail forward, fuck up, it's okay.
There's something beautiful about that, and the things that you find beautiful, whether they're ugly or not, you know, they may actually have a certain horror to them, right? I think there can always be this, but what you find interesting, you should be interested in it. I think that that is something that's really important. And what it feels like to me when I hear you talk about this motivations, kind of an extrinsic one, like you're for your clients and stuff. What's important in that, I feel like for me, is you're really exercising your freedom by being subject to this particular thing. You are choosing to do this with your time, with your energy, rather than anything else, right? There's any other thing that you could be distracted by. Personally, you know, if I'm being vulnerable here,
Mm-hmm.
social media can take up this space.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get lost in whatever it is. Could be drug use, could be social media use, right? There's all different sorts of ways that we try to flee from the thing that we feel drawn to or called to do, as it were. But it really is an act of love, I believe, to subject yourself to something and to really dedicate and be present in that moment. So again, there could be a real parallel or an intersection with this understanding other mediums, other media, oil paint, watercolor, working digitally. A lot of us work digitally as well.
Mm-hmm.
It comes back. Sometimes they can be an end to themselves. Sometimes they're a means to get to an end, right? You sketch on a piece of paper with the intent you're going to make a tattoo out of it. Sometimes those original artworks can be really important, full of beauty, full of life. Taking the time to appreciate what you're doing, I think, is really what I get from Kyle saying you got to be mindful of yourself, care about yourself. All of
Mm-hmm.
these important buzzwords.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that in culture all the time. Self-care. I think it can become a meme. It can easily become this thing that doesn't mean anything or a joke. But the real about it is that you have to love yourself, which doesn't mean that you're, you know, always always pure acceptance, right, of everything. I think you do need to question what it
Of
is you're
course.
doing, how it
Mm-hmm.
is you're doing it. but just trashing yourself, you know what I mean? This whole idea of being a total imposter. We're all bluffing a little bit, but that's everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody is. We're all in the same. We're all in that together, as it
I
were.
think you have to
So,
get yourself in that mindset that you're better than you are in order to get to that point where you're better than you were. And then go again that you're better than you are. Because if I think of it just as the artwork I'm doing, it could be better. Everybody's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, yeah, it could be better. But if I get in the mindset that I am better, I just haven't put it on paper yet, it helps me get there. Yeah, more like manifesting it rather than faking it till you make it. If you get yourself in that mindset that every time you do it, you'll do it better, you will do it better.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, if you accept the, if you look at like say in the sense of like the tattooing thing, if you look at your piece from a non-judgmental, um, constructive perspective, words are hard. There's a really good opportunity to learn from your own mistakes and stuff like that. In the sense of like, oh, I did something really bad. I'm really not happy with that, and you just want to do everything besides look at what happened and stuff like that. Like, there's a really high possibility you're just going to repeat that and repeat that and repeat that and stuff like that. So to be able to look at your, you know, what do you call it? Like the whole being mindful of it, like remove yourself from the situation and just look at the situation. No idea where I was going with that. That was fun. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I think that there's a certain truth to being in it, right? When you are looking at whatever it is you're doing and you notice things about it, there's a truth there. Taking a step back, again, an important practice, right? Again, there is something that we all have to do to get a longer view, but it's still important to remember what it is that you're being critical of. I think
And why?
we can develop that more later. I just want to say thank you, everybody, so much for coming and spending your morning chit chatting. This has been really helpful for me because I'm working on, I'm just kind of working through some of these ideas myself. Times are changing. That's all I'm. That's all I'm saying. They're big.
Yeah.
There's always going to be change, right? That is the only constant, right? Is change, and I don't mean to all these platitudes today. I'm sorry. I really am.
That's the fun stuff, man. Don't be sorry.
There's a reason they're true, though. They're time. They're true because they've been proven time and time and time again.
I hear that. I do. I think that what does become a problem is that whenever there's some wisdom of you say something that's wise or whatever, somebody else can say another one to counteract it, right? It just it becomes a game of rhetoric, right? It's you try to say these koans that are like profound or something.
It's just playing words with friends after a while.
Exactly. I do like to think we're thinking deeper about the things that are impacting our lives. Making art is difficult, and it also is painful a lot. There's a certain level of enjoyment that you have to find in that, that the pleasure in that pain, as it were. I do believe that is going to be, yes, I do believe that that's something that helps you overall, like accept your place in this universe, as it were. Because otherwise, you're never going to have any joy ever. You'll never truly be able to have this the pleasure, right, of enjoyment. It'll always be something that's always be something that is, just short. It's not deep, rich, fulfilling. It's sort of a thing. Having these really important motivations about care, not only for yourself, but for others. A solicitude, if you like. There are others that you are, uh, you know, really find an affinity for, and you really connect. You don't always have to see eye to eye. I don't think that's the case. In fact, those might be the people you're closest to, or the people that you have really profound disagreements with. But also, we care about our equipment, our, the way that we do things. I think although all those aspects are what we're trying to explore. So I wanted to say thanks, everybody. Really has been such an honor to to share Monday with you. Yeah, Kyle's our guest today, and we got totally
Good God
derailed.
damn, that's nice.
This
Nice.
is more than
on.
enough, man. I
Hold that-
love
hold
just
that
talking
up.
about stuff.
Hold that up. Put that back.
This is
Now you're yeah.
That is beautiful.
A screen within a screen.
Thank you.
Tattooception.
how did you do
It was a lot of
that?
fun.
Like, how did you get the water so blue? Like, it looks so good. Like the surface of the water looks like it's the surface of the water from underwater.
Just mainly just keeping in mind, of course, like going off the references, and trying to be mindful of priority and reserve is a great example of doing it. To where the foreground objects definitely a lot sharper, everything like that, the focal points, and then the water in the background. I tried to keep the edges as soft as I could. To where it kind of blurred out a little bit, and then just kind of going off the reference of like the ripples and everything like that, and then just being mindful of my saturation and value. Did I just say the same thing? No,
Mm-mm.
no, yeah. The saturation value of the colors I was choosing, and then just really working with that, and then definitely doing a couple passes on some of the blue helped out for sure. So. I don't know if that answers anything, but I can try to explain more if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there any layering involved in it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Everything I do has layering. Before I started working at the shop, I didn't have a whole lot of experience or knowledge with color. And the owner of the shop, Tony, he spent a lot of time with like Ty McEwen, getting his sleeve done. He's been tattooed by Ty McEwen and Phil Garcia, and just like he's had a lot of experience with color work, and he does a lot of color work. And so with him, I've been able to learn a lot, such as like layering processes and doing multiple passes on color and making sure that the skin's like super saturated when you need it to be, and stuff like that. So, yeah. So when you say layering, do you mean like single session layering or multiple session layering? Sorry.
I mean single session layering.
Yeah. The one thing that has helped me out immensely with learning single session layering is skin control. Doing everything you can to minimize the trauma to the skin, and then giving it time to breathe a little bit, and then going back in and just packing over top of all of it. Compared to like the other color that's just like 100% you want saturated, everything like that. So say I go in with like a dark purple, and then so I basically what I did with the dark purple is I built it up like black and gray as I would with black and gray. I did my solid black and then just kind of slowly fanned it out and everything like that to where I'm just basically doing a black and gray technique. And I'm doing that, but while I'm doing that, I'm trying to keep the trauma to the skin as minimal as I possibly can. So that way, once I get a certain amount of area built up, or all the purples, depending on how I attack it, then I go through and I basically just pack over the saturated areas that I need with the higher chroma, higher valued color. So it's definitely a dark to light process that I've been trying to mess with. And I know you can do light to dark to light. It's just kind of like situational, it's whatever you want. But yeah, I can't stress enough the skin control of how important it is to make sure that you're hitting the skin correctly and causing as little trauma as possible. Because like I know, and I know that there's going to be certain skin types that there's just like really nothing you can do. They swell up super easily. Their skin is super sensitive and stuff like that. So that might have to become more of like a multi-session layering. But yeah, does that help at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even know that there was purple in the piece.
And in the blue, I stuck with complete blues. The purple I was just using for example. I did a rose recently that I used purple undertones, and then I went over top of it with like reds and stuff like that. So that whole process. On that one, that was more multi-session layering compared to, or not, multiple session layering compared to single session layering. I don't know if I have. And then like the elephant, it was more of a multi-session layering compared. I don't know if I've posted it. Let me post it on my story real quick so you can bring that up.
That's
and I'll show
so
you
cool.
what
Yeah, that elephant is crazy.
Yeah.
Like the detail around is getting me.
What does those circles mean? I don't understand what those mean.
That's definitely a tattoo. You can tell what it is from 30 feet away. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the whole process of it. Yeah, always take a step back and look at it. See what you need to do. It won me my first place award, so that was cool.
I can see why.
That was awesome.
So are those actual bumps on her arm, or are those flowers?
Where?
So it looks like around the back, in the wing, they look like it looks. I mean, if I look closely, it looks like there are bumps on her arm, but it looks like you turned it into. At first, I thought they were like little cherry blossoms.
No.
See what
Yeah,
I'm talking about? Like in kind of.
Yeah, those aren't bumps or any type of like skin blemishes or anything like that. That was just kind of like a whole like little. I don't know. I just thought it looked cool to have like little like firefly-esque things in there.
Wow, because they look 3-dimensional. That's why I thought they were bumps. Wow, that looks dope. Wow, that's dope.
Thank you.
So I have a question. Another question. Is most of the contrast in the eye? Did you put a lot of contrast in the eye?
100%. Brightest whites, darkest blacks. I did a lot of that there. Just because, like, it's the eye. You see that in a lot of art towards like the human figures, portraits, everything like that. The eyes are super important. You want like a really, really good amount of contrast there. I still have a good amount of contrast everywhere, but yeah, I definitely did a lot of black around the iris and the eye socket and stuff like that, and then just had like the drop shadow from the eyelid. Did my darks there, and then faded it out to the color, and then just did the white highlights in it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, definitely, I think we did 4 sessions on this. I had her come back in a couple of times extra, just so I could go over certain colors again multiple times, just to make sure that the skin was going to be 100% saturated and it was going to stay saturated for a long time. Because that's one of the things that Tony had taught me, that it's okay to do like multiple session layering and stuff like that, and just like, even if like the skin's like it looks pretty good, but like I just want to make sure that it stays for a really, really long time. I'm going to go back in there, even if it's a free session, whatever, I'm going to go back in there and then I'm just going to pack that color in again. And that's just for like longevity reasons. Because just the more color that's saturated in that one area, the better it'll hold up over time usually. So
it's incredible, an incredible piece.
Thank you.
It was so cool to watch the whole evolution of it, because I got to see you go through the thumbnail process and paint it digitally, and then finally here it is, an award-winning tattoo. It really is amazing.
Yeah.
And a great process that you have lots of documentation about. So that would be, I think, something really nice to showcase along with it as well.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Does that make
Put
sense?
together like
just
a PowerPoint presentation and stuff, it's like Word 98 and stuff.
it could be a reel, or it could be, a carousel of images about it.
That's true.
That you have, because you've documented every step of the way. So many times we don't do that, right?
Yeah.
we don't take photos along the way. You'll get to it or whatever, or you lose the drawing. I think you've got it's a fascinating, there's a story behind it too, just as far as the making of it, and that's also interesting. But of course, it's technically brilliant, right? There's a lot of it is really amazing tattoo. So
well, there was a lot of experience with that tattoo, man. Like it was around like the third session, because like I've really been struggling with my like color application for a while. Like stuff wasn't coming out as saturated as I wanted. There was always like patches here and there. And then I want to say around the third session on this is when like the whole color packing thing started to really click in, of like, oh, okay, I need to be packing my colors over top of each other a lot more than I have been, towards just not such a quick fall off into the next color, to where I get a lot better of a blend, make sure that, I have those really smooth, like gradations of one color out, to where when I go to pack over top of it and it heals up, it's a good, nice, smooth color, gradation from one color to the next and stuff like that. Like I learned a lot off of this tattoo. It has definitely been a journey with it. Yeah.
Well, it looks electric.
Tattoo.
Why don't we take a minute and check out any other one? Is this that rose you were talking about?
The rose I was talking about, I just posted it to my story, so I don't know if you can look for my story.
I will. Yeah, let's go to your story.
This is a rose that I just photoshopped together. Where's it at?
This guy.
Yeah. That I just photoshopped together, and this is one of the reasons I want to focus on my underpaintings, my undertones, and stuff like that, and build off of that. So that's 100%. I'm doing a special on this rose. I've got another rose that I'm putting together that I'm going to put out for a special, and just try to get people in to where I'm just solely focusing on the underpainting process, and so I can learn that to a T and fully understand that. So if you're in the Tucson area and you like roses, let me know. I'd love to work with you on a rose. Doesn't have to be this one. Oh, I think I got emailed for this one already, but the next roses that I put out, yeah, definitely down to work with somebody on them, because it's just the underpainting process is just so damn fun. Once I learned that I needed to be packing over top of other colors a lot more than I was, it just changed it. So
are you planning on doing like a multiple session for this one?
I guess it'll see how it goes, because I'm still learning. If this one we said to set it kind of like around a 5x5, size might change, I don't know, depending on the location that it needs to be done on. I would like to be able to handle as much as I can single session, but I'm guessing it might be a 2-session thing, just to make sure that the colors are fully saturated and stuff like that. I'd like to be able to definitely tackle it in one session, but not expecting it. So I could definitely see it being, if it was a 2-session, I'd definitely be able to make sure I could really, really take my time with everything and stuff like that. I'm still going to, but you know what I mean.
Well, there's one that you shared with me. Let me pull it up for everybody. Here we go. Replace it with maybe. Forgive me while I'm getting this.
Good.
Let me see if I can. Can I share?
The other rose that I put together is like super Beetlejuicy, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't share. I have it.
I
Apologies.
can.
Yeah, if you have it, we could share the rose that I just couldn't find. I can't find where to have it. Hold on, maybe I can do it like this.
Oh my gosh, my OBS is acting up again. I gotta close it and open it back up.
I know technology.
It's just
Mercury is
like
in retrograde.
having its moment.
Yeah, today is
Eclipse day.
Eclipse day for many.
Oh,
I know we're gonna have like we're gonna have a huge amount of people here in my town. They're here for the eclipse today.
All right, cool.
We've
So
been having all kinds of stuff happening this month. Jersey had an earthquake.
Yeah, how was
that was
how was
crazy.
that experience like?
It was a little trippy. Jersey had an earthquake. There's a solar eclipse. 2 swarms of cicadas are about to be born at once. The Antichrist is selling Bibles, but I think it's fine.
let me bring
Okay,
this up.
Kyle, you got this. Yeah, you can show that.
Yeah, this is the Beetlejuice
Oh,
one I'm working on right
cool.
now. I think it'd be so
That is
fun.
awesome.
It'd be super challenging though. It'd be super fun. I'm gonna.
I
look at
would
the wall
totally
real
wear
quick
that.
and bring another one. Okay, here we go. Is that a good shot of it? No. How about this one?
Here, hold on. Let me show this tattoo that you did because I was finally able to
you
find
got
it.
it? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
This one, right?
Yeah, that one. That's,
Oh,
that's
that's
the one I was
nice.
talking about when the
So
purple
let me
undertones and I went
see
over
if
top
I
with the
can.
red. Hello from Australia.
Let's get right in there.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
So yeah, like all my darks and stuff like that, like on the one pedal on the right all the way, that is just majoritarily was it bruised eagle or something like that? I can't think of the name of it. But it's like a really, really dark purple. And then I did dark purple and black in that area above that. I can't really, that swoop of the pedal and everything like that. Like you have your dark
This
purple,
guy?
everything like that. And then lower, that curved toward the two petals meet. I don't know, whatever. Next section up. So you got the next pedal up. That right there.
Here?
Where your cursor's at. Nope, down. Where your cursor was at. Okay, whatever.
I can't see
But
anything.
yeah,
This one. This one here.
So yeah, that I did a little bit of black and purple in that area, and then I did a lot more I did a bit more black and darker purples in the center. But I basically tackled it. I had the solid pack on the ridges and everything like that, and I took my flat, did the good pack on there, and then just fanned it out just a tiny bit. I had a good amount of saturation from there, and then I just started, brushing out and slowly building up my values, like I would with my black and gray, and then, oh, nice. And so then I let the skin chill for a little bit, and then I went back in with like a dark burgundy or whatever, and packed over top of all of it and stuff like that. And that was kind of basically all I did in that area. And with that purple buildup into that, and then the burgundy, I basically packed over top of everything in that area, compared to like the 100% saturated of the dark purple. I just color packed over top of all of it, and it worked out great. So it's definitely like, yeah, the glazing process. helps out so much, and packing and everything like that. And that's how I treated the whole entire thing. And I really enjoyed how it came out, and I just want to build upon it. So
I really like this part, Kyle, right here. Really like this light sort of feels
dude,
like it's coming
that
through
that
the
stuff is so
pedal
cool.
some way.
Yeah, and like the slight transparency that you see in some pedals and stuff like that, it's just so cool. Just those little backlit things, are just like the little things, man. They're awesome.
Well, I like that you're using these references from life, because the other day I was drawing some roses and I just kept thinking about like a formula for like drawing an S shape, and it kept looking like a cabbage or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, actually, I looked at a picture of a rose and it was like just the way that the petals started to lay. I think so often we get kind of caught up, right, with these stylized versions of stuff. We feel like we have to do them. If you can really reference from life, you might come up with something really profound. Like this is really beautiful, and my intuition would, I'm just thinking about like, you didn't outline this in black. It looks so much better. I mean, there's a nice definite edge, and it might over time you might have to address it again. But it looks really elegant. It looks really soft, like this flower should be. My like inclination would be, how hard outline black all the way around the edge, blah blah blah. I like that the way that you approached it, especially over here. You got a really dark value, and again, if you hit it more than once, it'll probably be really nice. It'll probably stay sharp.
Yeah, get a really rich value out of it.
It'll probably work out just really well. But could we talk about this black and gray skeleton hand for a minute? So dope.
I can't see anything on my screen. I don't know.
Can you all see?
I can.
Okay.
Maybe
It's not showing up for you, Spirit?
Can you see any of us?
Yeah, I can see everybody. I just see. Yeah, I'm just gonna pop out.
Would it work if I just sent like the picture to you?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
I'm actually going to have to hop off. I have a client coming soon and I really need to get ready.
Okay.
Hey.
So you guys have a great rest of the show, and I will see you next week.
All right. Sounds great.
See you next week.
Thank you so much for being here, Amber.
Have a great week.
Take care.
We'll do. We'll see you later. But yeah, what about with the black and gray? Yeah.
Hey, morning, Bruno. Great to see you. Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. It's fresh right now, so I guess I'm curious how it's going to chill out and become. How it's all going to settle in.
I am too. I am super interested to see how it heals. I've been trying out, like different like pre-made gray wash sets, just for fun. This one was with the dynamic gray wash set, and then the thing I appreciate about that and like about that is that it goes off of like 20, 40, 60, 80 compared to like extra light gray wash or light gray wash or medium gray wash. Like I feel like to me personally, I guess it's like, I don't know, just a nitpicky thing, but like I feel like it takes away the value of it. And it's just like, oh, this is extra light. Well, is that supposed to be extra light when it's like, I don't know, just my brain doesn't make like the same connections, I guess, when it comes to like applying this to that. So but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Here's another really, I think it's a really well done moment where you have, again, not a harsh outline, but this part of the digit, it falls back into space, but you have high contrast. So there's really dark edges and then some some speckles of white highlight, some spectral highlights and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we look at the leaves, for instance, they're treated a bit more simply, but this is something that I noticed, like, you start doing leaves nice and dark. If you don't like sort of push that light spot down a little bit, you know what I mean? It becomes real high contrast, and that's not where you want the attention, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
shade it nice and dark. Maybe it's not the darkest dark, but it's pretty dark. And then you also have a little bit of shading where the lightest part of this leaf is, and it allows it to become supporting cast, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about this leaf, but the leaf, if the leaf weren't there, it would be really missing something, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Dwellers just asked, what about the healing process, and do you follow up with the customer? I'm guessing. So yeah, the healing process, I definitely have them do the second skin, or I use Recovery Derm, the latex free one, and we have that definitely with. I just make sure that there's no like any oil, and like lavender oil, of course, not anything like that, any soaps or anything that I use, but use the second skin. I have them leave that on for 5 days. After the 5 days, take it off. Wash the area with your antibacterial soap, and so forth and so on, and then lotion it, whatever, yada yada. And I've been telling people if they could come back within like a month and a half to 2 months for me to check it out. Reason being is because then like all the ink that's in the epidermis is completely pushed out. It's only the ink that's in the dermis, so I can really see if anything needs to be touched up, how it's going to hold up over time and stuff like that. So like trying to do a follow up with customers, I feel like is super important, just to see how your tattoo healed. Because then like that's what you really want to show, and that's what you really want to build off of, is like your healed pieces. Because fresh tattoos, you can make them look crisp and clean, like this looks awesome, this looks amazing, but like when it heals up, something might be a little off, like something might be a little too light and stuff like that. So in those circumstances, it's just like okay, cool, this is a little light, I'm gonna come in, I gotta pay for a setup fee, I'll bite that bullet, whatever, I don't give a shit. I want to make sure that this tattoo is 100%. So like, yeah, I'm gonna have you come back in. I'm gonna have you touch it, as long as they're cool with it and they provide, a certain amount of time for themselves to show up and do it. Then like, yeah, 100%. I'm gonna make sure that it's touched up and it's looking 100%. So, gosh, there was like a seminar thing that they were talking about. Follow up with your client, like even though like a couple weeks after the appointment and stuff like that. Shoot them an email or whatever, and just be like, hey, everything heal up okay? How are you doing? This, that, and the other thing, just to make sure that everything is okay, and staying in contact with those people, because then you're making sure your artwork is going to stand the test of time, and you're also providing a lot more of a better overall experience, I guess, instead of the whole like come in, get the tattoo, get the hell out, and we'll just never talk again type of thing. Which I've been that person. I don't ever want to be that person ever again. So yeah. More contact and more personability with the client, the better. I hope that answered the question. If you have any other questions, dwellers, more than welcome to hit me up on Instagram. Definitely willing to talk about stuff. Yeah, so.
yes, no, Kyle, you're very generous.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely where your name is. Right, it's your billboard, it's your advertisement, as it were. So it is so important.
And it's like the whole, I guess, like in the whole debate and the whole talk of like the industry being oversaturated and stuff like that. Like that's the only thing that's going to stand out, because there's going to be people that are just hell amazing, like customer service people, and their tattoos might not be the greatest, type of thing. They're going to keep clientele for sure because of the way they treat people, but I don't know. I have no idea where the hell I was going with that. There's something in there, but there's a debatable thing in there. Artwork. It's just, super important. So
we definitely started off today talking about how our, our customers are need to be cared for, or we got to care about them, especially in lean times, all the more important. So I like this approach where you are not only perfecting the work, right, making it better, but that's going to be a client that's going to really consider you again for their next piece. They're also going to reach you likely because you give them that extra bit. So,
like, yeah.
I wanted to just take a second and show this. Gabe is out there, drove out to Full Eclipse. Thanks for letting us know, Gabe. We were worried about you, making sure you're all good.
I hope it's awesome. Enjoy, Gabe.
Don't look directly at it. Right? Don't stare.
No, that's nonsense.
Morning, Roxanne.
So many. It's gonna be a thing. There's gonna be so many people that are gonna go blind today. I mean, I'm sure there's a statistic, you know.
Lebanon. That's awesome. That's so cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we've got
Lebanon. Hey, Dwellers Earth, what's your Instagram handle? Sorry.
Yeah, last Eclipse, I was doing like graveyard shifts at a job, and so like I just woke up, went outside for 2 seconds, and then went back in and went to bed. It's like, all right, cool. I'm tired. No worries. Other ways of communication.
It's here we go.
The three amigos. Bum, 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 bum.
I just want to extend thanks, Kyle. Thanks for spending your Monday morning with us. I know it's earlier for you than it is for us on the Eastern Standard Time.
You night owls.
It is. It was probably what time? What time did we start in your time zone? What time is it when we get up?
I woke up at 5 and we start at like 6. I usually wake up at 5, so it's not a big deal. I naturally just wake up at 5.
What time do you start tattooing?
Noon.
How late do you go?
Nice.
Until I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, especially if it's like an out of towner, yeah, we'll go until like 10 o'clock easily. You know, I try to get as much time with out of towners as much as I can. Generally, a lot of my sessions have been like kind of rounding out around like 6 hours. So, I usually do 6-hour days and then, get home. Nothing crazy. So,
well,
but yeah.
Thank you for getting up early and for being a part of this. It really is. It's been such a like great experience to watch your process, to be able to. Spirit, come back in a minute. To be able to talk to you, like not only about tattoos and stuff, but about the way you think about things. I really do. I appreciate your insights, and I appreciate your time. Spirit, dude, we're getting out of here, man. Let's do some sign-offs, and then we're gonna close it down for Eclipse Day. So if you're in the path of the eclipse, please don't go blind today. I'm not making light of it. I'm not trying to everybody, but there's gonna be some. There's gonna be people.
Yeah.
There's gonna be people. They're gonna go blind today. Sorry.
That's right.
It's the breaks.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
I do have one more quick question to Kyle. Did you this one with the pineapple grenade, the boots and stuff? Did you do an actual line drawing of this, or is this did you use like a program to turn it into a stencil?
Gosh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. I definitely like to do like
and do the
like on paper or digital.
It doesn't matter either.
Majority of the time, I like to hand stencil everything. Yeah, I did the line
Mhm.
stenciling, the hand stenciling. Every once in a while, I'll be able to do
Okay.
the Photoshop uh thingamajig, or like that app tattoo stencil that Pony put out. Sometimes I can get away with that and I can work with it, but not all the time because I'm just so hardwired to do it like the old way. You know, you do get your picture, put it on stencil paper, and you hand stencil it, and I still rock it that way. I've seen like that super cool the whole printing process of like you print out the stencil and it looks just like the picture type of thing. I don't know if I could do that. Just I'm so hardwired to doing it this way that yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I've been using the stenciling stuff, the new stencil apps for a
Uh-huh.
while, and it gets messy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can get
Yeah. Yeah.
really
Yeah.
really convoluted and messy. So yeah, no,
Uh-huh.
this looks super dope. This is all your work does. But anyway, I appreciate you for being a guest today, Kyle. I learned a lot as usual. And just the fact that you're just like, just such a humble dude. You're really accessible. You know what I mean? You got a great personality. You really love tattooing, and you can really tell it shows through your work. So I appreciate you for being a guest today. And also thank you to James for doing this every Monday. I look forward to these shows weekly. So it's great hanging out with you guys. If you guys, anybody want to check me out, I'm at Tattoos by Spirit on Instagram, Tattoos by Spirit on TikTok. My website is tattoosbyspirit.com. Thanks, guys.
Heck yeah.
Thanks, Spirit. Can't wait for the grand opening of the new shop. So make sure
Yeah.
to keep us updated.
Hey,
I'm gonna
totally.
keep my eyes on some plane
No, that's
tickets.
exciting.
So
Really exciting.
Yeah, nerve wracking, but exciting.
oh yeah. To say the least.
Yeah,
Yeah,
break a leg for sure. We're rooting for you.
thank you. I
Mhm.
will.
Of course.
You're gonna do great, Spirit. You're gonna do amazing.
Thanks, man. I really
Kyle,
appreciate that. That means a lot.
definitely. Kyle, where can we find you? We want to get a hold of you.
If you want to get a hold of me, more than welcome to hop on over on Instagram if you have it at Olson_tattoos, OLSON. If you don't do Instagram, more than welcome to shoot me an email at trinityartcollective.com. Tattoo out of Tucson, Arizona. And I love the hell out of this shit. So even if you just want to talk tattoos, if you're a client or an artist that just wants to talk tattoos, more than happy to do so. And I only learn from it. So, but yeah, that's about it. And as always, James, thoroughly enjoy the show. I love talking tattoos and philosophy and all the other stuff with you, James, and you, Spirit, as well. Like, it's so good to see you and have you on here, man. It's been a minute for sure, and I hope to see you more. Many more Mondays in the future. Totally understand with opening the shop if you are busy. Totally get it because like it's opening a shop, man. But yeah, thank you, Dollars, for swinging by, man. You too for sure. But yeah, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everything that you guys do. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. You guys kick ass. So I hope you guys enjoy your Monday. Maybe we'll see you later in the night, James. Are you gonna be on tonight?
Yeah, no, I'll be there. I will be
Cool.
there.
I will
think
too.
tonight, Sandy's getting tattooed.
Oh, okay.
So she's going to be at Hyperspace.
Cool.
Guy's going to be there, and so is Marcus Leonard, I believe.
Oh, no
They're going
shit.
to try to convince them to jump on and draw with us tonight. So if you are a part of the Reinventing subscribers group, you should definitely not miss tonight. Eclipse Day night, Eclipse Day
Yeah.
Eve.
Middle beginning.
Guy's supposed to be there, so at least he'll be around. So it might be we might have like might have a cameo by Guy Atchison tonight. So that would be really cool. Well, thank you everybody for coming. If you've been hanging out, listening to us, we really appreciate you. Make sure to like us, subscribe us. That's always really helpful. Want to say thanks to Gabe. Tattoo Now. I think I have yeah, there we go. I have a QR code. Tattoo Now. Tattoo Now is technology for tattooers, right? They have CRM, mailing lists, the sorts of technological products for you to check out. So anyway, check out Tattoo Now. Ask for Gabe. He'll get you all set up. And again, we would definitely like to say thanks to Guy Atchison for being the founder and inspiration behind reinventing tattoo community. You can learn more by visiting reinventingthetattoo.com or guyatchison.com. I'm James Wisdom. This has been Drawing for Tattooers. You can find me on the internet, Tattooing Wisdom. Happy drawing, everybody. See you next stream.